Do you know you are controlled? You are not in control of your life. You don't own yourself. You are being programmed from birth. Society programs you with values, expectations, and dreams that serve the system. From your ID card, your bank account, your driver's license, and your smartphone, it all belongs to the system that decide what you can do or can't do. You may think you own your smartphone because it's in your hand by now, but they own the signal. They can shut it down anytime, anywhere. They own the system. You may think you own your home. You might own the walls, but not the land beneath your feet, not the water you drink, not the electricity that powers your life. You bought a car, but you have to pay just to drive it. Tolls, taxes, fuel, surveillance on road. It's not your car. They own it. Your laptop, TV, radio, YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, and TikTok. All of them, their policies, terms and conditions to restrict and ensure control and compliance of the system. Every click is a permission for them to control what you see and what you don't. And so, you work hard every day just to keep it all. You chase a lifestyle designed to drain you. You have a job but no freedom. You have money but no time. You are free, but only if you stay silent. In case you are like me, wondering, what's wrong with the world? Why can't I live free? Why am I being punished just for existing? Who's making all these rules? Someone somewhere is making these decisions for you, and you were never invited to the table. Even knowledge is controlled. Libraries sell books, they don't give information. Awareness is edited, truth is deleted. Creators who wake people up are banned, silenced, and erased. Their faces and their voices are deleted and banned across many platforms. But what if we could see it all? What if we stop asking permission to live? What if we started to awaken? There is a saying that says time is your greatest treasure. Owning your time means owning the future, the possibilities, the choices, all the positive things that you could manifest in your life. But with the media, that is no longer the case. The media isn't just the window to the world, it is the lens. And whoever owns the lens decides what you see. From TV, radio, and smartphone, there's an idea behind to indoctrinate your opinions and views. Films, cartoons, news, music videos, YouTube to social media reels. The idea behind is to turn you into a regular consumer and keep all your time to mainstream to fill up their platform's net worth while yours stuck at zero. Every day headlines are written to shape your feelings. They tell you what to fear, what to celebrate, who to hate, and who to trust. It's not about truth, it's about narratives. Mainstream media doesn't exist to inform, it exists to shape perceptions. Stories are chosen, edited, and spammed to keep you distracted or docile. You'll see celebrity scandals 24/7. But not the truth about IMF, debt traps, and political assassinations or corporate lobbying. Two networks can report the same event. One will make you angry, the other will make you feel safe. The facts don't change, only the story does. Through repetition, selective image, and carefully chosen words, media companies don't just inform, they program. And with media, they can control how we see the world, who to listen, who to ignore, how we feel, and how to experience. Then with all that, they can start suggesting what to buy, what to eat, what to wear, and how much we should spend. There's a theory that says expensive things last longer than cheaper stuff, but that's an unproven theory to emotionally direct people to specific products at the highest costs. Media shapes not only what we know, but how we see the world. It decides which facts to highlight and which to ignore. And over time, those choices are built entirely different realities for different people. While someone in Africa may grow up believing the lion is the strongest and most powerful big cat, someone in America or India might grow up believing it's the tiger. Both are majestic, both are powerful, but the belief depends on the stories you are told and the images you are shown. Same goes to the deadliest snake, the anaconda and the python, fattest animal, cheetah and puma. These differences might seem small, but they are seed of endless arguments, debates, and cultural pride. And while we argue, the media profits because attention, whether in unity or division, is still money in their pockets. It feels like we have hundreds maybe of choices, but in reality, just 6 corporations control over 90% of what you watch, you read, and hear in the Western world. From film studios, TV channels, news outlets, to children cartoons, the same boardroom decide what stories are told. And guess what? This is the perfect paved way to plant narratives in our eyes, feelings, and understanding. Disney control all of this. Warner Bros. Discovery control all of this. Comcast control all of this. Paramount Global control all of this. And Sony control all of this. News Corp control all of this. When the same person owns the news, the entertainment, the cartoons, the streaming platforms, they don't just tell the story. They decide which stories get told, which is why lies, narratives, and polarizing stories will strive at the highest level, and no one can stop it. And there's many times media just lied and people just believed. No questions, no doubt, and no confrontation. The piece of information that media publish passed through many doors to filter the truth and accuracy. Because accuracy is not important to media. Attention it is. History is full of moments where the media was caught lying. Example, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, reported as fact for years. Fabricated celebrity scandals, later disproved. Financial crashes no one saw coming, despite internal warnings. Millions believed until the truth was too big to hide. In most time, media deliberately publish controversial and conflicting stories to leave audience questioning themselves. Like the Cold War space race in 1957 to 1969. In the USA, media celebrated the moon landing as proof that America was the most advanced nation on Earth. In the Soviet Union, media minimized the moon landing and focused on their earlier space achievements, telling citizens the USSR had already proven superiority with Sputnik and Yuri Gagarin. Two nations, two truths, both crafted by their media. The Iraq War and weapons of mass destruction in 2002. In Western media, reports repeated government's claim that the Iraq had dangerous weapons, creating strong public support for invasion. In the Middle East, many outlets reported there was no evidence of such weapons, framing the invasion as purely about oil and power. Years later, global investigation confirmed Iraq had no such weapons, but then public opinions had already been shaped and war had already happened. Neuroscience tells us something uncomfortable. The human brain is not built for truth, it is built for comfort. When we hear something that matches what we already believe, our brain rewards us with dopamine. When we hear something that challenges us, our brain reacts with stress and often rejection. This process is called confirmation bias and survivorship bias. When we hear both stories of successful businessmen and failed businessmen, we like to pick the story of successful businessmen and use it as mirror to our own personal lives, without considering what might have happened to the story of failed businessmen. The idea is also used in promoting business and industries. While in forex and gambling industry, they say 90% lose money. We are more interested in listening to the story of 10%. Our brain are conditioned to fade reality and fervently embrace illusion. The media industry studied how our brain works. That's why stock market, investment industries, and crypto. They use media to report to their investors. When they report good news, investors will buy more shares. When they report bad news, investors will panic and start selling their shares or even exiting their positions. This is how human brain is wired. This is why lies, repeated often enough, can feel more true than reality itself. This is why the media is infested with lies and fabricated stories that dominate your mind. Social media promised connection, a place to share, a place to speak freely, but it became the largest distraction machine in human history. Designed with infinite scrolling, instant likes, addictive algorithms, social media doesn't just grab your attention, it holds you hostage. In this world, anyone can say anything about anyone without proof, without responsibility. Podcasts spread rumors, tweets ignite outrage, private lives are public property, and people watch not because they care about the truth, but because they have been conditioned to crave drama, celebrity scandals, controversies, secrets, and constant drip of curiosity and obsession. Podcasts speculate about celebrity secrets, random accounts post accusations without evidence, and millions watch, not for truth, but for the thrill of scandal. Social media built a world where curiosity is endless, and privacy is extinct. We are not just the users, we are the product. Social media doesn't just share information, it shapes desire, it fuels division, and it convinces you that you are informed while distracting you from what really matters. Every feature was engineered to feed the brain reward system. Likes, shares, comments, follows, and dopamine on demand. Infinite scrolling removed the natural stopping point, so there's no moment to decide I'm done. The feed just keep coming, an endless buffet for your attention. Without realizing it, people give away what used to be private: their faces, their homes, their children, their work history, their exact location in real time. Every photo, every status, every like is collected and stored and analyzed, not for your benefit, but for theirs. Before Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, there was something small. In 1997, a website called 6 Degrees appeared. allowing users to create profiles, list friends, and connect online. It was followed by Friendster in 2002 and MySpace in 2003, the first platform to make online socializing mainstream. Then came Facebook in 2004, originally for Harvard students only. It soon expanded to universities then the entire world. The idea, a digital place to connect with friends, was copied and adapted across countries. Orkut in Brazil and India, VK in Russia, Mix in Japan, the same formula, different skins. By the 2010, social media wasn't just a novelty, it was life. Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, each one designed not just to connect people, but to keep them there for as long as possible. The earliest social media wasn't designed to control you. In the late 90s and early 2000s, platforms like 6 Degrees, Friendster, and MySpace had similar goal: to connect people, to send messages, to share a little about your life with friends. It was about communication, not control. The internet was slower, people logged on, chatted for a while, then logged off to live their real lives. Everything changed when new companies realized one thing: if they could keep your eyes on the screen longer, they could make more money. Facebook introduced the news feed in 2006, a constant stream of updates from your friends and pages you followed. Suddenly, you don't have to search for information. It came to you endlessly. Then came features designed to pull you deeper. Profile pages to showcase yourself, photo uploads to capture your life, comment section to keep you engaged, and notifications. Added icons engineered to trigger agency. Other companies saw the formula and copied. Instagram added stories to compete with Snapchat. YouTube introduced shorts to compete with TikTok. Twitter added space to compete with Clubhouse. It became the arms race, not for innovation but for your attention. The old platforms that refused to adapt, like MySpace or Orkut, disappeared. Social media was no longer about sending messages to a friend. It became a factory of endless entertainment designed to keep you scrolling. Social media has been used to do more than connect. It has been used to control. Like the Cambridge Analytica in 2018, Facebook data from millions of users harvested without consent to influence political elections in the US and UK. My crisis in 2016 to 2017. Facebook used to spread hate speech and false news that fueled real-world violence against the Rohingya minority. Pizzagate 2016. A conspiracy theory spread via Twitter and Reddit convinced people a secret criminal ring operated in pizza shop, leading to an armed attack. COVID-19, disinformation in 2020 and 2022. False cues, fake death statistics, and manipulated videos spread faster than healthy agencies could respond. In each case, millions believed, and some acted on lies designed to provoke anger, fear, or division. Podcast gossip, videos speculate, tweets accuse, and the audience grows, addicted to drama, not truth. Social media built a world where curiosity never ends, and privacy no longer exists. And the more you spend your time on these platforms, the better for Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. The media isn't just reporting to the world, it creates the world to think it exists. And if they can control the story, they can control the people. Here lies a bigger problem. When someone with a degree thinks they are better than someone who fixes cars for a living, that's not intelligence speaking, that's indoctrination. The system has conditioned them to see their piece of paper as proof of superiority, regardless of real-world skills or contributions. A degree is not just about what you've learned, it's about the expectation deliberately planted in your mind. Expectation designed to confuse you from the reality. Study shows that many of the world's wealthiest billionaires are college dropouts, or even never attended university. Even if they did graduate, their degree played little no role in their rise to wealth. Henry Ford, no degree. Bill Gates, no degree. Steve Jobs, no degree. Mark Zuckerberg, no degree. Richard Branson, no degree. Jay-Z, no degree. David Green, no degree. Larry Ellison, no degree. And the list goes on. Meanwhile, universities and colleges are just not centers for learning. They are business machines. They are highly profitable business. In 2023, the global higher education market was valued at over 2.2 trillion. In the United States alone, student loan debt surpassed 1.77 trillion, more than the entire GDP of Canada. Historically, universities were never designed for the masses. The world's first universities like Bologna, founded in 1088, and Oxford around 1096, were earliest institutions for the wealth, focused on theology, philosophy, and law. The earliest DNA never truly disappeared. It simply got repackaged as higher education. They spent millions for advertising, rake in billions for student loans, overpriced textbooks, and expensive on-campus accommodations. The education industry thrives on hope, not realism. Even the saying "man is the root of all the evil" often echoes from university professors, subtly conditioning students to believe the extreme wealth is inherently immoral. The unspoken message: if someone becomes rich without degree, They must be a scammer, a fraud, or a criminal. The motion of school seems less about producing innovators and more about producing return customers. You get your degree. You are not satisfied with the job payout, so you upgrade to masters. You are still unhappy, so you aim for doctorate or PhD. Each step, the college profits while you sink deeper into debt and dependency. In the end, the education trap is not about teaching you how to think, but about teaching you what to think. The traditional education system wasn't designed to create free thinkers. It was built during the industrial era to produce obedient workers. You are taught what to think, not how to think. Creativity, questioning authority, and critical thinking are often punished rather than rewarded. We are trained for the factory of society, taught to follow, not to lead, to compete, not to collaborate, to pass tests, not to ask questions. Creativity is punished, obedience is rewarded. We are not educated, we are processed. We are not shaped into thinkers, we are conditioned. They call it system because it was built to produce predictable results, not brilliance, not vision, not rebels. It's a loop: school, job, debt, retirement, death. You live the same life as the one before you and call it success. But the world is changing. We are waking up. We are beginning to see the most powerful education doesn't come from classroom, but from questioning, experiencing, and learning and remembering. Real education teaches who you are, not what they want you to be. Real education teaches you freedom, not obedience, courage, not silence, imagination, not memorization. It's time to escape the education trap, to unlearn their lies and teach ourselves how to live. They are the shapers of maps, the makers of dreams, the architects of reality itself, scientists. From the laws of mathematics to the rules of nature, from the theory of the atom to the vastness of the universe, we are told this is truth, and we believe it without question. We trust them, we follow them. They define reality and loss of energy for us. They are presented as eternal truths. There is no seeing the world without seeing it through their eyes. But what happens when the truth they give us isn't true?
It followed from the special theory of relativity that mass and energy are but different manifestations of the same thing. A somewhat unfamiliar conception for the average mind. Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared, in which energy is totally equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy.
Problems start when opinion becomes a law, speculation becomes fact, science becomes religion or culture. The earth perfectly round, they said, a fact etched in every globe, every textbook, every classroom, yet today, debates rage. Could this be another story destined to shift, like so many before it? The shape of the earth, once believed to be flat, then declared round, is still a subject of contention in certain circles. The flat earth and geocentrism. For centuries, leading scholars like Claudius Ptolemy, 100 to 170 AD, taught that the earth was the center of the universe. This truth lasted over 1,400 years until Copernicus and Galileo were branded heretics for challenging it. The mainstream science says Earth is round based on physics, satellite imagery, gravity, etc. But the deeper issue is that most people believe it simply because they are told, not because they understand it. The bigger issue, we are taught to trust experts without empowering ourselves to investigate truth independently. That's the real problem. Science tells us that there are 8 or 9 planets. They demote Pluto without asking anyone. NASA shows us images, but only few people ever question if these images are real, or CGI, composite, or real photographers. They claim to have seen or discovered aliens without proof, wrote books, turned opinion into law, and once idea is crowded, scientific fact, questioning it becomes hearsay.
When you think about the question of where are the aliens, which I get asked a lot, this is like the Fermi paradox, where are the aliens? And I've not seen any evidence that there are aliens on Earth. A lot of people think there are aliens on Earth, and
As for aliens, it's mostly speculation, distraction, or military cover-ups. The truth, we live in a world where speculation is sold as truth, and mystery is used to distract us from questioning what's here and now. Even the great Albert Einstein was proven wrong, not once, but many times. This cosmological constant, once declared his biggest mistake, is now back in modern cosmology. Truth recycled, facts written. Albert Einstein initially rejected the concept of expanding universe, calling it his biggest blunder. He clung to cosmological constant to keep the universe static until Edwin Hubble's observation proved expansion was real. Isaac Newton believed light was made of particles only, dismissing the wave theory. Later experience by Thomas Young proved light has wave properties. Lord Kelvin estimated Earth was only 20 to 40 years old based on heat loss calculation. Radiometric dating later proved Earth is about 4.54 billion years old. Phlogiston theory. In the 17th century, scientists like Johann Joachim Becher claimed all flammable materials contain substance called phlogiston. This was accepted for nearly a century before modern chemistry proved it false. Eugenics movement. In the early 20th century, prominent scientists such as Francis Galton promoted the idea that human could be improved by selective breeding. This led to forced sterilization in countries like USA, later condemned as unethical and unscientific. Luminiferous ether. 19th century physics believed light traveled through a mysterious substance called ether. It was so widely accepted that textbooks taught it as fact until Einstein's theory of relativity made it absolute. Smoking is healthy. In the 1940s and 50s, tobacco companies paid scientists to publish studies claiming cigarettes improve digestion and reduce stress. These were presented as scientific truth until the mountain of cancer evidence became undeniable. Throughout history, scientists have introduced discoveries that shaped human belief system, only for later generations to prove them false. But here's the thing, while the claim is still alive, it becomes true for that era, enforced by institution, education and culture. In the modern age, it's not just scientists. Corporations and governments stand as gatekeepers of knowledge. The modern institutions and corporations don't just shape scientific perspective, they defend disputed claims. Peugeot Pharma, for decades, promoted X-Contain as non-addictive with the backing of paid medical experts. Millions became addicted before lawsuits forced the company into bankruptcy. Pfizer and Moderna. During COVID-19 pandemic, both companies were accused of withholding full transparency on trial data, while heavily lobbying governments for favorable policies. Coca-Cola funded studies suggesting sugar wasn't a major cause of obesity, blaming a lack of exercise instead. A claim rejected by independent researchers. ExxonMobil. Internal documents from the 1970s showed that they knew about the dangers of greenhouse gas emissions. Publicly, they downplayed the threat for decades to protect oil profits. Facebook, Meta, partnered with fact checkers to suppress stories later proven true. E.g., certain COVID-19 origin discussions defended these actions as protecting public safety. Google adjusted algorithms to downrank alternative health sites after 2019, citing science-based results. But critics say this also silenced legitimate dissenting voices. Even though the claims are disputed, scientists continue to defend themselves and defend their claims. The pattern. Initial claim is made, often based on limited or biased data. Institutions adopt it as truth, taught in schools, broadcast in media, cemented in law. New evidence surfaces, challenging the claim. Defenders double down, using authorities, ridicule, or censorship to protect the narrative. The claim eventually collapsed, but then millions have lived under a false reality. And today, new prophets emerge.
The star system. I mean, ultimately, if we're able to become a spacefaring civilization, a multi-planet species, and ultimately a multi-stellar species, and go out there and explore all these star systems, I think we may find that there are many...
Elon Musk tells us we must colonize Mars to save humanity. He warns that artificial intelligence could become human's greatest threat, or our salvation. He claims our species must emerge with machines to survive. These are visions, not yet facts, yet they are shaping global policy, billion-dollar investments, and the way millions imagine the future. And just like the scientists of the past, his claims are defended, promoted, and rarely questioned, until decades later, when the truth finally appears. Codes and laws are made to shut down questions and defend scientists' claims. The science is settled, often used to silence debate, despite history proving science is never truly settled. Trust the experts. Demand faith in authority rather than open inquiry. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. True in principle, but often used to reject new ideas before they are explored. The truth is, science is supposed to be a tool for questioning the world, not a religion where certain ideas are sacred. Yet history shows that scientists can be wrong, sometimes for centuries, and when that happens, the world can be living inside a lie without even realizing. It is easier to fool someone than to convince them that they have been fooled, often attributed to McDarwin, but fitted for the history of science. Money. is not powerful. It was made powerful. The first step was control. Take all natural resources, the water, the land, the minerals, and restrict access. The second step was to print money, a token, a piece of paper, a numbers on screen, and then force people to work for it, only to get 0.01% of what nature once gave freely. The third step was to create banking system, not to protect your money, but to monitor how you spend it. Most importantly, to make sure you don't have too much of it. They create fees, they create interest rate to control buying power. They created inflation to quietly reduce the value of what you earn. And behind the curtain, all banks across the world connect to one system, one central authority, the World Bank. And here lies the question: if every country borrows money from the World Bank, where does the World Bank borrow money from? The digits in your bank accounts are not real. The numbers on the notes in your hands are not real. Government create policies, taxes, and hidden fees to ensure no one truly owns anything. Your $10,000 is only valuable in your mind. They replace real wealth with something called net worth, something banks and government can control, something they can erase with single click. If you fail to pay your taxes, they take everything, your house, your land, your so-called wealth. Because in truth, the system chooses who's to make rich and who's to remain poor. They tell you, work hard and you'll make it, but they never tell you this: less than 5% of the world population controls nearly all the wealth. The rest work, struggle, and chase shadows. Money is not backed by gold anymore. It's a papers, numbers on screen, printed, controlled, inflated or deflated by banks and governments. The real value is in natural resources, land, water, and the ability to grow food. Real power. If you can feed yourself, access clean water, and build your own shelter, you are more powerful than most billionaires. But they've taught us to chase artificial value, degrees, brands, job titles, while stealing the land and poisoning the water. And they manufactured money. You trade your time, your energy, your life for it. Nature gives us everything for free, but they put price tags on it. They privatize water, fence off the land, poison the soil, then sold us cure. They've convinced us that unless it has a price, it has no value. With nature, we were born rich, they made us poor. The real wealth is not in digits or in dollars. It's in water, it's in owning livestock, it's in food, it's in land. If you have this, you are richer than the man with 5 luxury cars, a private jet, a mansion, and millions locked away in fragile bank account. Because when the system collapses, only nature will remain. Even those who play games at the top lose everything. Mike Tyson, once worth over 300 million, went bankrupt in 2002 due to debt, lawsuits, and reckless spending. Donald Trump, before becoming US president, saw his companies filed for bankruptcy 6 times, proved that even billionaires bend to the system of debt. MC Hammer, the pop icon of the 90s, earned 70 million but went broke within a year. Even Elon Musk in 2008 admitted he was borrowing money from his friend to pay rent after Tesla and SpaceX nearly collapsed. Fame, success, and power, none of it protects you when the system decides to strip you. The harsh truth: if you can lose all the wealth you worked hard for in decades by making one wrong decision, this means nobody is truly rich in this today's world. You are simply given a prince treatment as long as you stay loyal to the system. And remember this: the system hates frauds. They tell you went broke because you were financially illiterate. But think about it. Is financial literacy truly important in the world where money is printed, destroyed, inflated, and manipulated at will? Where digits on screen can be increased, decreased, or erased overnight? Get your head straight. Money is not real wealth. It's the least that keeps you obedient. This is the richest city, and this is the poorest place. At least according to what you are taught. In textbooks and universities, we are taught a successful economy is where jobs exist, where people pay bills, rent apartments, or own expensive houses in first-class suburbs, where GDP rises, corporation profit, and the marketplace expands. But this is not wealth. This is the consumer economy. It plants laziness in people's mind, convincing them that consumption equals progress. Meanwhile, villages with rivers full of fish, fertile soil to farm, livestock, clean air, and flowing water are dismissed as poor. Yet these are the places where real wealth exists. Food grows freely, water is abundant, community thrive through production, not consumption. The digital economy ignores them because it cannot control them. Yet the system convinces them that they are nothing because they lack money. The advanced economy today's term is the one where people are overworked, stressed, in debt, and disconnected from the land and family. They call that progress. Meanwhile, a self-sustaining village with abundant food, water, and freedom is labeled poor. The real economy is not in banks. It's in soil, seeds, sun, and time. We were born rich, and they made us poor by making us dependent on the system. The city is a marketplace, not a producer. Cities do not produce, they only sell. A city without a thriving, resourceful village would collapse. Every meal in the city comes from a farm. Every bottle of water comes from a spring or a river. Every smartphone comes from a mineral mined in villages. The so-called wealthy city survive only because of the true producers it exploits. Switzerland, famous for luxury watches and banking, yet depend heavily on African gold and minerals. Without imports, its wealth would collapse. New York, the financial capital of the world, but produce little food. It is entirely dependent on farmers, thousands of miles away. Dubai, built from oil revenue, but imports 90% of its food. Without constant inflow, its skyscrapers would be empty shells. Congo DRC, called one of the most poorest countries, yet hold over 24 trillion worth of minerals, callback gold diamonds, the backbone of modern technology. Poor in money, but rich in reality. The United States, world the largest economy, but imports over 30% of its fruits and vegetables. If farmers stop producing, Wall Street bankers would starve in a week. Dubai, built on oil, now imports 90% of food. Without trade routes, skyscrapers would collapse into silence. Congo DRC supplies 70% of the world coal pack, yet 73% of Congolese live on less than $2 a day. The so-called poor country powers your phone, your laptop, even your Tesla. The system measures success by numbers on a screen. Gross domestic product, stock markets, corporation profits. But ask yourself, are people happier? Are communities healthier? Is the earth clean? A thriving economy is not the one with the biggest buildings. It's the one where people can eat without fear, where water flows freely, where life is respected. The nature's gifts are stolen, sold and destroyed. They poison the land, then sell us the medicine. They control the water, then charge us for a sip. So now, ask yourself this, are you a producer or are just a consumer? Because a consumer will always be controlled by the system, but a producer holds the keys to freedom. Here's the thing. When you see the church full of people, rituals getting performed very often, the tithe getting paid confidently, the holy books distributed amongst communities, bishops turn into idols, graves become the altar to communicate with the dead, people go to mountains and rivers for power. And you don't question what is the narratives. This is the idea I had when I was young, about the whole pyramid of religions and cultural beliefs. Unfortunately, no one could possibly answer me, because everyone just follow. Because the belief system isn't something just you read or learn. It is something they plant in your mind, in your feelings, but mostly in your spirit. And once it is planted, you become like a trained soldier, ready to obey, ready to follow instructions, but no questions. The belief system thrives on hope for survival, protection and prosperity. Christians join the institution to please God and enter heaven. Muslims follow rituals to gain paradise. Rituals and sacrifices are performed to appease ancestors. But notice, it is always about someone else, not about you. It's about a savior, a prophet, an ancestor, or a devil. All beliefs have one thing in common, a devil, but they differ in saviors. They all have different saviors or heroes. Fight against evilness. As a freeborn baby, have you ever asked yourself, why do you need a savior? Why must you dedicate your life to a belief system just to survive? Why do you need a protection? To protect you against what? Something rarely mentioned, never fully explained. Religious and cultural systems were never only about faith. They were a system of governance, system of obedience, system of fear. In the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church sold indulgences. People paid money for forgiveness. It wasn't about faith, it was about control through guilt. In many African traditions, people pay spiritual leaders to cleanse cases or speak to ancestors. Once again, a transaction of fear and hope. Belief systems make you feel not enough. They convince you there is a better life somewhere else. Heaven, paradise, the afterlife. So you dedicate your life chasing the next life. In the process, you give away your time, your resources, your very own soul to the institutions that feed on your devotion. Just like any substance that can dominate you or your mind, a belief system can too. The same way drugs alter your brain or a pornography hijacks your spirit, triggering your addiction habit. Belief systems thrive on addiction too. You become addicted to mystery, addicted to magical revelations, addicted to a promised world you have never seen. And here's the trick, it's not about what they actually tell you. It's about what you think about what they tell you. The trap begins when a preacher, a priest, a prophet, or a shaman says a single phrase, and your imagination does the rest. You convince yourself that whatever you picture in your mind is real. You manipulate yourself. You become addicted to the idea that these belief systems are pathways to the next life. But as a member, you know nothing. only the superior knows what's going on, and they are not willing to share it with everyone. Their beliefs don't just create hope and addiction to mystery. They fuel division, hate, and war against those who believe differently than you, or simply refuse to believe as you do. History proved this. The Christians against the pagans, the Muslims against the Christians, ancestor worshippers against the Christians, even cultures clash with other cultures. Every religion and every belief system competes to be the most real, the most powerful, the most chosen. But why? For you, to gain your trust, to gain dominance over you. Because once you believe, you are no longer you. So now, ask yourself this. Are you willing to hate someone just because you were told to do so? Did the creator of this world truly design belief systems? Or they're just human invention, just like a gun designed to take over the world? As we know, all the books are audited before published. But for what? We don't know. The books of nowadays feed us with half history and half knowledge. All the books of older times are nowhere to be found. Why? Because they hold the true knowledge. Now the knowledge is hidden. The identity is hidden. They told us that black people are from Africa, but they really teach us the deeper truth about African civilization that predate Greece, Rome, or even Mesopotamia. They ignore the oral histories, the stolen artifacts, and the global African presence before the colonization. History is not what happened. It's what recorded, and who recorded it. Much of truth remains unwritten, buried, or erased because it challenges the narrative of the supremacy. The question is, who owns the world? The World Bank, the government, the religions? The answer remains complex or unknown. But what we know is, if they can control the land, water, minerals, money, banks, books, media, schools, religions, and cultures, who control them? Who really owns them? Who are they? They are not the leaders we see on TV, not the politicians you vote for. They work in shadows, invisible, untouchable, unstoppable. Corporations with billions, banks that print money out of thin air, media empires that shape your reality. They decide what you see, what you hear, what you believe. They profit from war and peace, from poverty and abundance, from fear and hope. The media distract, divide, and control. They create the chaos, then offer the solution. Divide and conquer, fear and obey. Technology tracks you, algorithms predict you, surveillance watches you. Some try to expose them, but paid the price. The question is, who are these people? Why they are so powerful? Why we are controlled by the few? After all the traps, manipulations, and illusions I've shown you, the awakening may seem impossible, but it's not. Let me be clear, this video is not meant to reprogram you, not to recruit you, not to make you follow me. Awakening has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with you. Awakening means freedom. Awakening means truth. Awakening means living your life as you're meant to live. Aware, conscious, unafraid. I'm not here to tell you what path to take. I'm only here to put you at a crossroads, to hand you a mirror, 4-way stretch before you. Continue asleep, half awake but compliant, bitter and angry at the system, or awake, aware, and free. The choice is yours. The system is not evil by itself. It is only harmful when you are asleep. The truth is, you cannot break the system. It is old, large, and more powerful than your thoughts, feelings, and imaginations. Fighting it with hate will destroy you, but understanding it, learning how to move through it, that's awakening. The awakened ones don't destroy the system. They learn how to use it in their own favor, bend it, and how to survive without being consumed by it. You can grow your own food, build a business that fits the system without being chained to it. You can trade your talent for money, then turn that money into something real. Land, food, water, livestock, and community. Remember, you must never only be a consumer. Consumption is a sleep. Creation is awakening. Never be angry or bitter over some individuals or institutions. Remember, awakening is not about escaping the world. It's all about seeing the world for truly what it is. So I will leave you with this. Stay awake, think, choose. Don't just live. Live with the eyes open. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. So guys, this video was made possible by the effort that I put in this video, by my discoveries. So never use this piece of information from the video against other individuals or any institutions, guys. We are not siding a hate or any kind of violence against other individuals. Awakening means getting to know something that is real about the world. So guys, I'll leave you with this. just subscribe to the channel for more documentaries coming to the channel, and like this video if you want more. And there's many things I couldn't cover in this video, like the hidden history and many more other parts I couldn't cover in the single video. So if you want more, you can stay subscribe to the channel so that you can be updated on the next content coming up to this channel. So guys, thank you for being there with this channel. Anyway guys, bye.